Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Voyages of here on Rook and Rasp. We'll be following the story of the USS Serenite as it continues its mission to explore the Gamma Quadrant. We're using the Star Trek Adventures RPG rules from Modiphius. As a reminder, we are in no way affiliated with Modiphius, we just really enjoy their game. I'm Matt, and I'm here running the game tonight. Joining me is Sean as Commander Rory Vallon, our first officer, as Lieutenant Commander Lonnie Bex, our Chief of Security, Phil as Lieutenant Commander Tobin Perrin as our Chief Engineer, Sarah as Lieutenant Commander Charlie, our Ops Manager. I almost messed that up. Sorry, guys. And unfortunately, Roxy can't make it tonight, but she is here in spirit and will be heard in the hallways yelling about the terrible aliens. It's just inevitable, and it's usually pretty spot on. Let's just be honest. um, We've got Cthulhu's there that you can spend, so don't forget to do that. You can always just beam up to the ship. Doesn't really do anything, but it is something fun to do, and we all like to beam up onto the ship, um, like good Federation officers tend to do before they go somewhere. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh yeah, we do have other Cthulhu spins for momentum and threat. We are currently at 8 momentum and 4 threat. I'm not sure it's going to get tracked very well in the chat tonight, just because that's normally Roxy doing it, and she's not available. So um, there is an option to tip to create a NPC if you really want to do that. Just say something in the chat and we'll figure that out. But it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So we'll get into our story tonight called From Heaven to Hell. There is no um, log because you are literally picking up right where you left off. So the Serenitis has used its deflector dish to attempt to close some cracks in a shield, a prison, perhaps. We're not quite sure what it was. That was being kind of projected from underneath the planet that they went to, and when they fired off their thing, not only did they fail, there were complications, and then they spent threat, and now the planet has disappeared. Can I get our ops manager, Commander Charlie? Can you give me a look at a sheet? There we go. A reason and science roll. It's going to be a difficulty of 3.
Ooh,
Astrophysics will apply.
Can
okay,
the
good.
ship help with this because of?
Yes, absolutely. The ships would be sensors and science.
Okay, I'll roll.
All right, I need a 15, so let's see how well I do. Only one.
Ship rolled a 4.
So that's 2 from you guys.
What's the ship's sensor rating?
3. Or
Oh,
the
okay.
sensors is 10, but it's the science
Oh,
that would
science,
allow
yeah.
it to crit.
Okay.
So I guess
Um,
that means we fail.
Actually, if you look at your abilities as the ops manager, I believe when using ship sensors, you get to reroll. It may just be tricorders, but we're going to pretend I said what I said was right, and you're going to reroll one of your dice.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't expect arguments.
No, I didn't write down that ability. I used to be science. I'm used to be a science guy who
Ironically,
barely
the science
barely
officer
makes it.
and the ops manager both have the same ability.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it's okay. So did you get another one?
I did.
Fantastic. So doing a quick sensor scan of the area, you recognize that you are definitely not in the same system you were. Um, your the computer is computing on exactly where you're at, but it has already come back to tell you that you are not in the time you are in. After it calculates where you're at, it'll tell you when it's at because that takes time.
Captain, looking at the sensors, it seems like we moved through time. The computer is still trying to ascertain our current position and temporal coordinates, but what's clear is we are no longer in the system we were just in.
Well, that wasn't what was supposed to happen.
That's
So we move both temporally and physically.
Well, actually, if you think about it, if we go through time and we're not anchored to the same spot, we would see the galaxy move. You know what? I'll just get back to work.
It does take a couple of minutes. The computer spits out that you are 785 years in the past. and you are not actually too far from the system you were at. At warp 5, it's going to be like 45 minutes. So not terribly far, but still not the same location.
So, player question, not so much my character's question. The Almalorians, they became warp capable much later. I mean, so if we went to their
So
planet,
they became warp capable, from what their information you were given, 1,000 years prior to where you were at. So in the 1300s, you are now in the 1500s.
okay, so they would be warp capable, so they would be
Yeah.
able to see us.
Yes,
My
hypothetically,
sensors.
depending
Okay,
on their
but
sensors, but you've seen their sensors from like modern times. They're not great.
we could
So
probably engineering could if that I'm assuming that's where we're all going to want to go. If that's the case, Commander Perrin. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to, figure out what our plans did wrong. But then, yeah, I'm guessing the only way through is probably gonna be to try to jury rig their system again. So
Yeah, that's definitely a priority, but also would like some information on masking our warp signature and basically our presence, so that the past Almorians don't know that we're here. We
um,
definitely do not want a special visit from temporal investigations.
on
They
a
are very
on that
unpleasant.
note, Charlie, your sensors ping at you. There are 3 ships coming your direction at high warp.
There are 3 ships approaching our position at high warp. Charlie's going to scan to see what they are, and he's going to run
Uh,
it against what we know about the Almororians.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
what we know of their technology.
warp trails are distinctively Dominion.
Okay. Yeah, they did rule it for. Okay. They're Dominion ships.
And they're on intercept course.
Yes, sir.
I'm already running work in the background to mask us because we don't want anybody to tell us, match us.
I think we should also probably put up some shield just in case.
Let's go to yellow alert.
Okay. It is, I don't know, a couple minutes, and you are hailed by the ships.
Please don't be a Vorta we know. Please don't be a Vorta we know.
Oh, Bill the Vorta.
Bill. So as you answer the hail, it's a very familiar face for us as players, but a Wayun is standing in front of you. He says, unidentified vessel, we have detected a large energy energy field in your position. We would like to approach and try and figure out if that has anything to do with a group of aliens we've been tracking.
Yeah. Did he give a name or anything?
No, just he didn't note who he was or where he was from. Just like, hey, we're here. We're gonna come near you. Like that was basically it.
Yeah. Unidentified ship. This is a temporal event, from what we understand. We were not in this part of the galaxy, and all of a sudden appeared here.
I'm sorry. Perhaps our comms are not working correctly. You said temporal event.
From what our sensors are telling us, yes.
Interesting. And can I ask the name of your ship and your association?
I guess I can't lie about it. It's painted across the freaking saucer.
Yeah, he did literally.
Well, if they can
Yeah, I was
speak.
thinking about that too.
They might not know our language. They
Yeah, but I
might
say
think
they-
it's smart.
It might not be a good idea because we know that they didn't know us before they met us when they knew us.
Yeah.
This is the. This is the interview. No. It's the Enterprise. Yeah, they get all kinds of temporal trouble. No one will
It's
land
the
in that.
USSDs.
Look, just tell them that we're a future Dominion ship. Maybe they'll buy it. That's out of character.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just gonna go with that because it's the other unidentified ship. I'm not sure that you should approach us. It could compromise the timeline. We are actually a Dominion ship from your future.
Can you give me a presence and command roll? It's going to be like a difficulty of 4. Now, I would say that Tobin, having heard this, can assist with or control and engineering to kind of mask your warp signature to cover for what you're saying. But again, he's only going to roll 1 dice. It's difficulty of 3 total.
Right, so I'm gonna buy a dice if everybody's
Sure,
good with
that'll
that.
put you guys down to 3.
Please.
Will my value act with confidence even if you don't feel confident? Was that going to apply to this?
Yeah, if you want to spin the determination already, yeah, go right ahead.
Well, we'll see what I roll. Or wait,
Sure.
no, that gave me another dice, right?
No,
That would give you 2 automatic successes.
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
And that actually, let's see that. That is a fail. 17. That's not going to give us any.
Nope.
Okay. And then I got a 4 and an 11, so that's 4 successes.
Did you get any,
Um.
Tobin?
Control engineering, you said?
Yeah.
Then yes.
Okay, so that'll
was
put you at
close.
5.
Yeah, I don't think any of my focuses apply to this, so no crits.
No. Diplomacy, double diplomacy still does not apply. We should really update
We
that.
have to fix that. We keep forgetting that.
Really good at diplomacy.
I am.
So that'll put you guys up to 5 momentum. He says, unidentified ship. Given the aliens in question that we are pursuing, I'm afraid that we are going to have to approach. We believe that there are Davidians in the area.
That would be accurate because that's who we were involved with in the future trying to stop.
Excellent. Then we will approach and do minimal scans of your ship to maintain the timeline. As you know, we have very strict laws. I assume they still apply in your
They do.
time.
So we're actually going to back away a light year.
That's a long distance. That's a long distance.
Okay. Well, I'm not an astrophysicist.
You're going to back away an appropriate amount. That's fine.
Enough that they can't get a lock on our ship name and ID. We're going to position ourselves in such a way.
Sure, that makes sense. Understood. Give us a few minutes to make a scan, and then we will contact you.
Sounds good.
So as you back away and get the ship in position, as Victra gets the ship in position, the 3 ships pop out of warp. They are essentially the exact same attack ships that you've seen before. On passive sensors, their weapons are not as strong as they will be 800 years in the future, but they are still, they're pretty strong relative. Given a quick run through, why do I not have your character sheet up? Sorry, hold on. Commander Bex, you can tell that if it came to a fight, you are confident that the Serenitis could survive and probably destroy all 3 ships. It could be pretty rough, though.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's not forget we don't know which version of Wayun is. If we destroy that one, it could have serious implications on the future. So I really would prefer avoiding a fight if we can at all.
but not killing this Wayun, if we're supposed to kill this Wayun, could have huge impacts on the timeline.
Also, aren't they all clones?
Well, yeah, but I don't know. It's look, the temporal anomalies in the academy were just they just gave me migraine.
As the four of you kind of chat over this with the captain for a couple of minutes, um, the ships kind of do like a quick run through the area that you came out of, and then hail the ship again.
Uh, uh,
I
scans
apologize,
go.
Dominion, unknown Dominion ship. This is Wayun. I am the Vorta of these attack ships. Um, we are detecting a high level of chronotonic particles, and on a brief, very passive sensor sweep, they seem to be coming off of your ship.
That doesn't surprise me at all, Wayun. The event we were involved in, we were actually trying to strengthen a prison that was cracking that the Navidians were in, and something went wrong with our deflector array, and we're not sure exactly what went wrong, but we're in the process of figuring that out right now.
I see. It sounds as though we share a common enemy. Um, I will need to report back to the founders.
Oh, of course. This is all
I
audio,
will.
right? We're not sharing video screens, right? It's not
No,
on
I
any of
assumed
this.
you were. Like, unless you
No.
tell me audio only, and that's fine if you want to. But like, even then, he doesn't seem perturbed that there's no Jim Hadar or Vorta on your ship.
Okay. Cool.
Listen, you guys rolled really well.
Wayne's like, hey, take screenshots of this. This is historic.
Oh, he's
Sarah,
probably going to rat us out.
Sarah, Matt has
I mean,
spaced the
probably.
name of the stupid things that make you time travel.
Chronotons?
Not the chronotons, the other ones.
Tachyons?
Tachyons?
Tachyons. Thank you. So yeah, so your ship does have chronotonic particles kind of leaking off of it would be the best description after your own little sensor sweep. Nothing that won't go away, but basically it's just like
Steam.
it's like you guys went through a sprinkler and you've got water dripping off of you. Like it'll go away eventually, but for right now, you're kind of leaking time. Sort of.
That's never good, actually. That's really not good.
I hate when I leak time.
It's better than like Back to the Future, where we're leaving like streaks of flames, behind us or whatever.
It's right off the nacelles.
Makes a little 99 afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie, upon detecting the tachyon particles,
Sure.
is going to immediately start to access any kind of emergency protocols we have on the ship, because that, like I said, that could be bad for the crew. That could be bad for the ship.
Do we still have the Almolorians with us?
No, they
We all
were.
ordered those, right?
They all got back on their own ship.
Okay,
I believe.
good. So we don't have to worry about that.
They are not
at
on the
least.
ship currently. Yeah. So the protocols basically are getting a worker bee and kind of like space scrubbing the ship is the fastest way to get rid of them.
Decon.
They, according to the information you have in front of you, they shouldn't have any effects, and other than they could kind of anchor you to the time you came from, so they may be important.
So
if that
we
makes
should
sense.
keep some.
I would agree.
Well, yeah, but Charlie's going to just keep studying it. I mean, I know he's the ops manager now, but he's going to be kind of going back and forth between science and ops, just because this is his immediate focus. Also, you know him and things he finds fascinating. So Charlie is definitely going to workaholic this.
Sure. So yeah, you guys could send out worker bees. You have a complement of them, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you have 12.
Seem a lot for a big ship.
Now they're 12. You have 10 personnel shuttles, 10 cargo shuttles, 4 runabouts, and a captain's yacht on top of those. So like you've got like
Yeah.
a whole garage.
I mean, they're useful.
Yeah. Commander Charlie, is refresh my memory from the academy. Is I seem to remember in temporal events like this, do we need to keep any of these tachyons so that we can get home?
It depends upon the event that brought us here. We need to study the particles, and if we somehow hitched a ride through a stream of them, then we'll need to analyze the particles to see if we can return the same way. Otherwise, we need to figure out what may have caused this to happen, and the Davidians possess their own ability to travel through time. It could just be the tachyons are a side effect of that.
All
What's
right,
more interesting, though, is the fact that it has been shown that the Davidians usually link 2 time periods together. So there's the potential that this time period is linked to the Davidians.
all right,
It is linked to ours.
Sorry, what?
And is linked to ours.
Yes.
Our time. Okay.
So what you're saying is like some kind of temporal wormhole between this time period and ours.
Yes. I'll have to
Okay.
analyze the mission logs, but I believe that the crew of the Enterprise was able to use the Davidians' temporal wormhole technology to return home.
That would be helpful. Keep doing that.
You are contacted again by the Dominion ship, and Wayun once again on screen. Seems to be bright and happy like always. Unidentified Dominion ship. I have been informed by the founders that we are to assist you in any way needs be. There is an inhabited system near here, but their technology is relatively low. So it would be best to avoid that if you wanted to avoid any temporal issues. However, the Dominion doesn't see them as a threat whatsoever.
And with that planet, and I would send over the coordinates.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the planet you're speaking of?
Yes, I believe the name is Almalor 7. We've
Right.
had agents there on and off for some time.
That could be a problem then.
Would you care to expound on what could be a problem?
Without endangering the timeline, that planet
Oh,
is kind of the
I
center.
apologize. I should explain further. At the end of our conversation and any mission we take with you, myself and the Jem'Hadar on these ships will be destroyed. It's the only way to protect the timeline.
You know, you could just erase your minds, Charlie
Yeah.
says, completely unasked for.
Perhaps, but the founders know the best way to handle this, and they're in agreement that destruction of our ships and our crew are the best option.
To help further the lie, I'm going to look at Commander Charlie, and I was like, now, dying for the founders is the greatest glory that any of us can hope for.
It's true.
Yes.
I mean,
praise the founders.
And I'm sure that my next clone will take over whatever command I might have. I'm not concerned about that.
Oh, I'm sure he will. I mean, he might not. They couldn't do anything with clones. I have work to do. Type.
So that does help me feel more comfortable in giving you more information, Wayne. The Vidians, there is a prison on that planet. I don't know if it's here now yet, or if it's something that will happen in the future. But in our time, there is a weird, odd projection that is keeping a large number of Navidians dormant. There were cracks in it that were allowing some to escape. We were attempting to reinforce that prison when we were thrown back in time.
would it be possible for you to share any scans you had of that prison with us so that we could analyze it?
Yes.
So I assume you're sending all scans of the temporal shield over.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
No. I just want to make sure if you're holding something back, please tell me. That's fine. I have no problem with you holding things back from the Dominion.
Yeah. It's just I'm just trying to. My pause was purely meta player, knowing that I could not trust Wayun to save my life, and the worry was that he's going to forward those scans onto the founders.
Well, I mean, you can't trust Wayun 7, but this is like Wayun 3. He's fine.
That does not fill me full of confidence.
No. So you send those over. He looks at it very briefly. He says, this is similar to some planet shielding that we use in the Dominion. I can't say that our engineers understand the temporal aspects, but if that's something that we could collaborate on, perhaps we could figure out how to make this happen if it doesn't already exist. Someone had to have put it there if it came from your time. I assume you are from the future.
Yes.
From a quick look at your ship from my viewpoint, like you look pretty
Thank you.
advanced. So with our understanding of our planetary shields, which I'm sure would be in your database, but honestly, I'm not sure if they're even used anymore, maybe we can come up with a solution. Would it be an option to send over an engineer to your ship to work on this with you?
Yes, that would be quite appreciative. We do need to go to that planet, so if you accompany us to assure them that it's not an invasion, it's not, because you said are they aware?
Oh no, our agents are unknown. As you know, the
undercover.
founders can take many forms.
Oh, I thought you meant like an ambassador outpost.
No.
Okay. Yeah, because then we're gonna go in as stealthy as we can to get the scans we need to confirm if their prison is there or not.
Excellent. I will beam over our engineer immediately. Wayun out. Bloop.
Wayun out. Are we really inviting the? Yeah, calmly cough. The Charles got to double check. Are we really inviting a future war criminal to come and work aboard the Serenitis, knowing
Hey.
full well that he is known to be one of the most treacherous people in the entire galaxy?
In
To
all
his
fairness, you're
credit,
inviting his
his-
engineer, not him.
And to his credit, he's probably already a war criminal.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh,
you
good,
know,
good.
would they be at the top of their power in the Gamma Quadrant, or are they still ascending?
From the ship's knowledge of the history of the Dominion, their height of power has lasted for like 2,000 years.
Okay.
So like you're in the middle of their height of power. The only actual defeat that they recorded was against the Federation Romulan and Klingon alliance. So like
Yes,
they
yes.
have never ever failed before.
Yeah, they're already war criminals.
Yeah, that's guaranteed.
Commander
I mean,
Bax, can you?
Literally, they have drug addicts running their ships.
Hey,
They're already criminals.
They're not their fault if they're drug addicts.
It's
Well,
the
I mean,
Dominion's
it's
fault.
the
Dominion's
but
fault,
it's not the
but-
Jim Hadar's fault.
Yeah, no. But I'm
Okay.
saying like they've already got a bunch of cokeheads running their ship. Like
Probably
they're
closer to
already
speed or
beyond. What now?
So it's probably closer to speed or meth.
Sure.
Commander Bax, could you go to the transporter room and escort our engineer?
Sure thing.
Yes, please.
I assume you warned the transporter chief.
Yeah.
It'd be really funny if we didn't, though.
Also, we should probably tell the crew not to start shooting when they see a Dominion officer on board.
Probably should do a shipwide announcement that we're going into a communication blackout and
And
Everybody
we're
acting
virtually
cool.
pretending we're part of the Dominion.
Oh,
cool,
that's a good
guys. Be cool. Bex, you get down to the transporter room just as like the shipwide announcement of, "Hey, we are in the past. Like, be cool, guys. Don't shoot the Jem'Hadar." And you walk by lots of faces. They're like, "Don't shoot the what?"
just trust me. Just roll with it.
You arrive in the transporter room. You've got Lieutenant. Where's she at? Lieutenant Stern there, operating the transporter. She says, "Sir, I've been pinged by a Dominion ship.
Yep, we're doing this thing.
Is there anything that I should know before I let them on the ship?"
We have told them we're part of the Dominion from the future.
Understood. Sir,
Oh.
I don't mean to be out of line, but is the bridge crew all of sound mind?
Most
We're
assuredly
not
not.
exactly sure now.
But like, no, I read about Picard and Riker dealing with aliens that burrowed into people's necks. It's nothing like no mind control going on.
No. Probably not, no.
Probably.
I've not checked for neck holes. We might want to put that on our
To-do list.
scan options coming up here soon, but when we're in dry dock again, we'll get neck hole scan upgrades. But until then, we're just going to kind of have to roll with the punches.
Neck hole scan upgrades.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'll tap my comm badge. We don't have any weird neck holes going on, do we? Sorry if this
No.
is rude to our dolphin members of staff.
I don't know that they would. Those aren't neck holes so much as like upper
Head
head
holes.
holes, right?
They're head
They're
holes.
blowholes.
Technically,
Lieutenant
so is a
Stern
little
punches
compelling
in
neck.
and like lets the transport come through. And standing on the transporter pad is a Jem'Hadar. And he kind of steps forwards and salutes, and he says, "I am 8th Torax. I'm the engineer of our ship. I'm here to assist."
Awesome. You can call me Lonnie, and we'll take you down this way.
"Yes, sir." And like follows you wherever you're going. Where are you going?
Was I supposed to escort this guy some?
No, just stay in the transporter.
Okay.
You're good. Just
Yep.
yeah.
To engineering for sure.
Perfect. I assume, Tobin, you're headed to engineering. Charlie, are you also headed to engineering?
Yes.
Excellent.
We can just take him to one of those rooms that's full of giant orthogonal crates for some reason.
Yeah. Are you also joining them, Commander? Or are you just going to stick up on the bridge?
Yeah, I'm gonna monitor from the bridge.
Fantastic. So yeah, on the ride down to engineering, 8th Toman Torax says, "Sir, I'm not sure that I'm familiar with your species. Are you? I was told this is a Dominion ship,
It is, yes.
but you're not. I don't think that you're one of our. You don't seem to be a member of the Dominion. Your uniform is incorrect. Your species is incorrect. I'm confused, sir."
Does
You're locked in an
Wayne
elevator with a
allow
guy
you to question orders like this?
"No, sir."
Good.
"Understood, sir."
That's actually a pretty good answer.
That was.
Yeah, you guys get to engineering. He pulls out a kind of like a tricorder, or I'm sorry, more like a pad, and he hands it over to Commander Perrin. He says, "Sir, I'm gonna guess that you're the engineer here."
Thank you. I will look into it a little bit and see what's in there?
So basically, it's just the designs for a planetary shield, the generators that they use, how they make them kind of like talk across so that they stay sealed. Can I get you to give me a control and engineering roll? There's your character. None of your focuses are going to work. It's going to be a difficulty of 3.
Then I'd like to at least buy a die.
Sure, that'll put you guys down to 4.
Is there anyone who could assist him in this?
Yes, Charlie, you could assist again with control and engineering.
Hey,
All right.
Charlie, look at this.
You got threat, Matt.
Oh, fantastic! Well, that'll put us up to 9. And Charlie,
1.
your focus on quantum mechanics would apply.
Still only 1.
Okay,
I got 2.
fantastic. There's the 3 we need. So looking over the information really quick, what you see is the reason that your deflector beam caused a problem is because the shielding is designed to cause problem for deflector beams. So whatever energy hit it shot tachyon particles back through the beam, and that's what caused you to move time and space.
Charlie, do you see how this is gonna bounce and then shove us through space in time?
Before Charlie responds, I have a question for you, Matt.
Yep.
Like, this isn't an intentional part of the design?
It is because it's for a planetary shield. You want any kind of beam coming from a ship to be blocked. The rebound is not intentional. It just is a
Okay.
thing that happened because of the frequency of Federation deflectors and the shielding.
Okay. I am seeing this. It's quite peculiar. I'm not certain why it bounced back the tachyon particles or why they hit us with such force that it was able to rupture time. But this might have something to do with the Davidians' own time, temporal technology. We do know that they were trapped inside the planet's core. So it's possible in their attempts to escape, their technology intermixed with the development of the, man, we get it wrong, the Almoranians?
Amalorians. You're pretty close.
Almalorians. The Almalorian technology.
With this information, could I propose a way to travel back?
You'd have to sit down and like work through the theory with Charlie and then test that theory. If Charlie's catching my drift.
Yeah. This is the basis for one of my talents for people at home.
Yeah.
Testing a theory is the first talent.
A real big thank you to Farlane for your subscription and the 42 months of subscriptions you've done. We really appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So yeah, you just looking over it, you can see there is potential. It will take some like figuring out what all will work between you and Charlie. This is also a little bit outside of like your specialties, Perrin, but like this like doesn't mean you can't figure it out. It's just not something you've studied up on before.
I mean, I love to wing it and jury rig stuff, so
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
So eighth sorry, I gotta go look up his name again. 8th Toman Torax says if there are questions about the design schematics or anything else that I can provide, please let me know. I would argue that I am one of the better engineers that we have. So there is some, I would say, luck in this situation, perhaps.
Charlie is actually extremely curious to work with this guy. So with the same energy that I know the crew has seen from him, he just kind of like saddles up right next to the Jem'Hadar.
Who seems incredibly uncomfortable as soon as you get within like that personal bubble.
Tell me, in this era, because I'm unfamiliar with this section of Dominion history, what have you experimented that much with tachyon particles, or also with any kind of time travel?
It perhaps may be different in your time. But our any experimentation with tachyon particles is forbidden. It is strictly something that the docile handle. Um, we are not to touch anything like that. I'll admit a lot of my information about tachyon and time issues is limited at best.
I see. Well, that's very interesting. I mean, tell me, do the weapons of this time period still use polaron radiation?
Is that what they use in the current? How are you
Yeah.
hitting things I don't know? Yes, we are still we are using polaron cannons.
Okay, that's oh, interesting. Cannons. Okay. Well, we may have to use some of the technology of the time period to assist us with returning our ship back to where it's supposed to be. And with that, he's going to start engaging in a whole lot of technical babble. And yeah, he not to betray the crew or anything, but Charlie is probably he's not going to tip his hand, but he is definitely like energetic and excited. He's a little
Um,
puppy getting a treat.
yeah, he seems to follow along, and as you and probably parents start in on your like running through of all the technical stuff, um, he seems to be picking up on a lot of it. The way he talks, it's clear that he is behind where you're at, but also that could be the amount of time difference, or just that Jem'Hadar are not the top tier engineers. Like they're made for fighting, not for thinking.
So tempted for Charlie to be like, "Oh, I'm a future Jim Hadar, and we are designed for thinking and combat because we're just so cool."
um,
Really blows my mind the Dominion don't have a better species for engineering than the Jem'Hadar.
I mean, really, it just comes down to if the ship explodes, oh well. Like it's not like they don't have good interest in protecting their soldiers. So
I guess they have better non-shipboard people.
true. Um, so after going through the information that you have and then the scans that you have, it's very clear that you're going to have to go back to the planet and take another look.
I guess we're just gonna put that in as a report to the captain.
Sure. So the captain's chair chimes and she looks at something and she says, Rory, can you go down to engineering and guide them, please?
Right away, Captain.
They're suggesting that we go back to the planet. I'd like to get a verbal report and then let me know if that's what we're doing.
Right away. I'll head down to engineering.
Sure. And Rory, I'm sorry, your engineering and science are both terrible.
Oh yeah. I depend on other people for.
Yeah, so they walk you through all of the technology, and you follow bits and pieces, but not enough to like give any real insight. It's
Lon-
more of like, okay,
Lonnie's in the
So-
corner playing Tetris on his pad.
So what you're saying is, to get home, we really need to go back to the planet and do some more scans.
I believe
Yeah.
so. That's
And once we get there and we have the scans, do you both feel that you can implement something to get us home?
I don't see what other option we have at this point, Commander.
That's all I needed
We
to
would-
know.
we would certainly have more information than we do now.
Okay, I agree. Information is definitely the first order. Tap my chest. And Captain Halada, yes, we definitely need to go back to the planet. We need crucial data from the planet from this time period to know what we need to do to get home.
has the engineering team suggested how we would be able to mask ourselves?
I had a couple of engineers working on that. I mentioned at least that I got it started.
Actually, can I get Perrin? Can you give me a daring and engineering roll. And Charlie, you can assist. It's going to be a difficulty of 3.
Daring plus engineering. No. Matt.
So, knowing that one of my values is that the job comes first,
Sure.
can I use determination to say that I get at least 2 successes?
Yes, you can do that.
I made sure that work got done.
Yeah.
About your work, you do a stellar job doing all that work, with all that work you do. And it's not like anyone just gave threat to Matt.
Oh no, did you roll a complication?
I did.
Fantastic. Oh, I might take that as start. We'll see what happens with this roll.
So I used my determination for 2 successes, and you said it was a daring and what?
Daring and engineering.
So then I did get my 3rd.
Okay. Actually, your holodeck engineering specialty would apply here if that changes anything.
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. So basically, what the two of you come up with within earshot of the Jemadar, I want to make sure that we're is fitting hollow emitters onto a runabout that has a souped up sensor package that would allow you to look innocuous while you fly that runabout there.
I mean, Commander, I haven't had that much time, but it's the best plan I've got.
Basically, that's the equivalent of gluing a bunch of mirrors to the underside of the ship. So when they look up, they just see the.
Oh no, they're going to look like another ship from like, what Almalorian ships kind of look like.
Oh, gotcha.
You could just be not a ship from 800 years in the future.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that actually is not a bad idea. I mean, that with conjunction.
I mean, you want to look like the first Enterprise, but no.
You
go around being like, Kirk. This is Kirk here.
I mean, that's not a bad idea to kind of put all the blame on the Enterprise because they get in all kinds of shenanigans. But no, let's try to blend in, mask the warp signature. Let's mask all of our. I'm not saying we're going to run dark, but let's try to keep our energy emissions low.
Yes, Commander.
Yeah, so that'll take a couple hours for you guys to do a retrofit on a runabout. Make sure that the sensor package is installed correctly, and then probably warp in real slow at like warp 3, so as not to throw any questionable things out there if you come in too quick.
Coming in hot.
8th, Common Thorax says that is an interesting solution. I was not aware that hollow technology had advanced that far. Is this something that you could use to mask yourselves on the planet, perhaps?
It's not as reliable.
The difficulty with moving the power source, especially with us having to cobble one together, might make that a little difficult. But we actually have other means. We can actually just disguise ourselves so that we look completely different.
He looks around. He says, the technology has not just advanced for you, it's quite different, isn't it?
Let's just put it like this: in the centuries to come, the Dominion acquires quite a bit of new territory and incorporates a lot of new technology.
Understood. It may be better to have some of us on planet to be able to scan, if that's something that we can do.
I would be willing to go down to the planet. I have the technical expertise, and I also have studied this culture quite extensively.
I don't know that the Doctor has the time to make you look bird-like, Commander.
Well, so as a reptilian, actually, it wouldn't be that much of a stretch to give me avian characteristics.
We can just hot glue some feathers.
The poor doctor's down there getting his hot glue gun out and heated up.
No, the doctor's
he's
like,
into it.
no, you can't come in here. I'm not accepting you as a patient.
No, knowing our new doctor, he probably's got a staple gun out going, we're just going to staple these.
Nope.
Fastest
Nope.
way to get it done. Don't be a baby.
Do not want.
Just a
Take
big
'em out
cigar
yourself.
sticking out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Doctor and
Um,
tequila on the bedside table.
Yeah. So the do you allow Eighth Tom and Thorax to assist you with retrofitting the runabout?
I would, unless someone tells me not to.
Assuming I know that he's supposed to be dying, then I would, unless ordered not to.
I'm good either way. I would definitely defer to our head of security on this one. Whether or not I think it's a good idea.
That's you, Lonnie.
Pardon? Sorry.
Whether or not you think it's a good idea for them to let
Oh.
the Jem'Hadar work on the retrofit, the hollow emitters.
I mean, would he even be able to with the advanced technology we're working with?
He has given some insight already. It's possible that he could.
I mean, we just having them here, if they don't actually kill them, which I'm still not a huge fan of, but Dominion gonna Dominion, that could give them access to high-level advanced technology that, to my knowledge, they still don't have in the modern era.
Right, and we definitely going to trust the Wayun is going to end all of their lives. So yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't know. He's already been exposed. They've already been exposed to so much technology at this point. I don't know that it really matters. But again, I'm going to defer to your opinion, Commander, when it comes to security measures.
Yeah, because his expertise isn't in this field, I think it's probably a good idea if we keep him away from it as much as we can.
All right. So sorry, can't help you guys.
Maybe once we get it set up, he can run scans on it to see if it'll pass muster for their scans. I'm using the word scan a lot in this sentence, so but other than that, I think it's probably a good idea we keep him kind of to the side so we don't mix our technologies too much.
I think the primary benefit of having him around is if we need to interact more with the shielding that he's here. So
yeah,
I can respect the decision, Commander.
Right. I mean, when it's time to go planet side, if that's what we do, definitely. I mean, he will be in on that mission.
Yeah. So the Charlie and Perrin, you both go start working on this thing. There's a whole gaggle of engineers from engineering and also just like shuttle bay engineers kind of helping you out. It takes a couple hours to make sure that all of the emitters are right and in the right spots, and then also that a stray, phaser shot isn't going to ruin the whole thing. So it takes a couple hours to get that all set up and make sure that power is not going to fluctuate or anything, and get the sensor package installed. During that time, what are you guys doing with 8 Tom and Thorax?
You muted.
Telling
Tom.
him to stay put.
Take him to the Dapple Dove.
Ooh, take him to the Apple. Oh, that sounds fantastic.
I mean, we got a little off time. I don't know.
Have Minkler escort him around.
Ooh.
Yes, you should definitely hand a Jem'Hadar over to a Section 31 agent. I'm 1000% behind this. I think this is a great idea.
Charlie is going to be teaching him about the importance of like self-actualization and why independent thinking can actually make for better, quick command decisions on the battlefield.
And he just starts like tapping his vein.
we're all work as a group, but we think independently, and that still benefits the group. Do you see where I'm going with this?
This is a strange concept for the Dominion to adopt. Your future must be far.
We're doing pretty well in the future. We've expanded pretty far. I mean, we're starting to make inroads into the rest of the quadrant. We're doing pretty good. Pretty good.
Remind me as a player, outside of the Tetracell White, do they eat?
No, they don't eat. They don't drink. They don't poop.
There's like a fan theory that like they also don't have taste buds because of the Vorta don't. But
Yeah.
we do see them drinking alcohol at one point, but it doesn't have an effect on them.
Yeah, and at least the Vorta are like poison resistant.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Wayun drinks poison and it's just like, ooh, that had a taste. Interesting. Like, didn't care.
Yeah, all they can taste are like the nuts and some berries that their
Yeah.
pre-evolutionary
Yeah.
ancestors ate. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll take him to the holodeck, let him play there for a little bit.
Here you go,
The
kid.
technology we were
Obey
keeping
the
him away
holodeck.
from. Let's just put him right in there. Like,
Come back 20 minutes later, the walls are on fire. This is great.
Okay,
Why do you have like 10 holonovels that set something called the Dominion War?
This Dixon Hill fellow, I like him.
oh,
No, what we need to
Yes,
do is put Tim in the Mark Twain simulator.
There you go.
I solved the murder. I killed everyone.
I do
I solved the
declare.
murder. It was me.
I got it. We teach him the Dominion realizes that twaining helps solve conflict in the future and brings people into the Dominion.
Every Vorta you see has got like a white goatee.
I really want you to say that you actually take him and put him in the Sherlock Holmes, because then we can bring back Moriarty, and I can mess with you guys even more.
No,
Don't worry.
not twice.
I mean, he's a guest. I don't want to throw him in the brig. I don't really know what to do with the Vorta,
Sure.
so holodeck it is.
Okay. Yeah, you guys go down and like show him cool things on the holodeck that are innocuous.
who's you guys?
The commander and the welcoming committee. I don't know.
My suggestion would be just Klingon stuff.
Yeah.
Just run Worf's calisthenic programs,
Yeah.
Yeah. There
and by
you go.
calisthenic I mean fighting.
No, it's the yoga program that Crusher and Troy do
Fantastic. Yes.
with the singlets.
Oh, better yet, we do the tap dancing simulator that she used to teach Data how to tap dance.
This is all great ideas.
And then we'll tell him that's advanced fighting techniques from the future.
So the runabout is all retrofitted. Everything's ready to go. Who is going on the runabout? I assume all four of you, and also Victra.
Are we using the runabout to get to the planet, or this is?
Yeah,
just
because you don't. So the idea being that if you fly a giant ship, it's going to get seen. If you
Right.
fly a runabout, that can be hollow masked.
Oh, I totally didn't understand the solution.
Yeah,
I thought we were using the runabout to hide our big
mask
ship.
this.
Oh no! So no! You're gonna fly the runabout there because
I am so glad, Phil. I wasn't the only one that was not following the
Yeah.
plan.
Okay.
Sorry,
There we go.
Matt did not explain that plan well.
No, I thought we were going to be piloting the runabout. If it makes you feel better.
Same.
50-50, which is still a failing grade.
Crap. That's fine. Chat knew what I meant. That's fine. Chat probably didn't know what I meant either. I'm sorry, chat. So
We're all under the bus.
so all four of you are going to go on the runabout.
Yeah, I
Makes
believe
the most sense.
we'll bring the Jem'Hadar too.
Yeah. So you get onto the runabout, and the Jem'Hadar just kind of like stands at the back by the transporter without really any idea where to sit, because this is all outside of his understanding. Elcars is real different from everybody else.
You can take a seat right
Oh,
there.
okay. So, actually, before he gets on the runabout, I would remove the chairs. Like, no, seriously.
Oh,
which
that's
is
right.
awkward because all of the control panels are at chair level,
We're
so you're
all
like
hunched
hunched
over.
over the whole time.
We'll remove the chairs, but put in yoga pads so we can kneel comfortably.
Oh wait,
Talk
are
about
those
yoga
weird
simulation.
ergonomic chairs that you kind of fold yourself into from like the 80s?
Oh yeah. Um. Okay. So
We're
we're
from the
gonna
future. They have to be weird egg chairs.
yes. And everyone is stroking a cat evilly. Can I get Commander Valen
Yes.
to give me a control and con roll?
Okay.
It's going to be difficulty 2.
Okay.
I guess I could pull up a runabout, but I don't want to. Not going to lie.
That is 2 successes. Right.
Okay.
11 and
Um,
12.
You pull out of the shuttle bay and start heading that direction. You are hailed pretty quickly by Wayun. He says, according to our ships, you are coming through as an Almalorian ship. Everything looks like it is working correctly.
Perfect. Thank you for the confirmation, Wayne.
May the founders be with you on your mission.
And also with you.
New
He,
Dominion
he,
future.
like looks
suit.
around and goes, "Is that a new thing? Do we do that in the future? Is that
Yes.
okay? Okay, I'll keep that in mind for the short amount of time I have left."
Sometimes it's with your spirit.
Okay. So yeah, you plot a course, warp off at like warp 3. It is it's like you're stuck behind a horse and carriage on the road to Almalor. Like it, all 4 of you feel how slow you're going, and it's terrible. The stars are barely flying right past you. They're just like way slower than they should be. You come out of warp near one of the moons of Almalor 7. You do see some space traffic, not a lot, maybe 15 ships. Most of them look like cargo ships. There seems to be a ship from whatever defensive fleet they have, but also on a quick scan, your ship can easily outmatch it. Like the runabout can easily outmatch it, which is saying something.
Not to put you on the spot, how many moons are there?
There are 3.
Is it possible for us to mask our entry or our coming into planetary orbit by staying within the shadow or behind a moon?
You could do that. It might cause the scans to be a little more difficult, but that's not out of the question.
I think we should better safe than sorry until we can find out if we need to get closer for the scans.
Okay.
Is Victra piloting?
Victor's
she would say
back
something
on the big
sassy, I
ship
think.
just in case. So the commander is the first officer is piloting.
And I haven't scratched it yet.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, we got time. Let's just be honest. We got like 2 hours.
We
You can
actually
still
don't.
scratch it.
We've been dripping time this entire time.
As you scan the planet, I need Charlie to make a reason and science roll. Difficulty is going to be a 5. The ship can assist. Now that I've said that, I'll go get the stupid character sheet. I should
Okay,
have
so
one.
difficulty is 5, you say.
Correct.
Trying to evade their sensors.
Yes.
I would like to spend a point of momentum to be a walking encyclopedia on non-cloaking device related stealthing a ship.
Okay.
Basically doing what they did in Star Trek 4, you know, modulating some sensors, you know, just
Making you look as much like a not a Federation ship as possible.
yeah, you know, fly casually.
You got some maneuvers.
Okay, that's pretty good. I got 3, but we needed 5.
Yeah,
I should have bought more
I'm
with
pulling up
momentum.
the stats for the thing. Sorry. That's not it. Sorry, also,
Whoever rolls for the runabout, maybe buy momentum, which I forgot to do.
this is badly bookmarked. All right, hold on just a second, guys. I apologize. I need.
I know it is. We're on a special runabout. You get a roll under an 18.
Yeah, that is
It's a
not.
really good runabout.
That is
Don't
not.
watch.
Well, it's
I would
from
do
the
that. I'd
future,
roll
you
two
see.
20s.
It's from the.
Can we have Tom roll for us?
Say Tom Tom?
Yeah.
The
Like-
character from Doctor Who?
The GPS system?
Oh wow!
Yeah. He just helping us fly. I mean,
Pull up your good old Tom Tom.
that's
Yeah,
what we're
the
calling
ship
the
can
Gemini.
roll on a 7. And it actually, normally ships would crit on anything above, or like at or under their department skill, but the department skill for this is 0.
So just roll a 0.
Yeah, it's all you got to do. Roll a 0.
So do we want to buy an extra dice with a momentum?
Or threat. Oh, I
mean,
am taking that complication as threat now that I've forgotten that I had it.
Who wants to roll it?
I could.
Okay.
So do we want to
Need
buy?
2 successes.
Yeah. yeah.
Actually, by the rules, Charlie would have to be the one buying it because it has to
Oh.
come off of the primary actor's role. If you want to buy it now, go ahead. I don't care. It's not a big
Oh,
deal.
then we get.
Yeah,
Then,
go ahead.
So I roll it.
Yeah, go ahead and roll one for you, and then
That is
Rob
a
will roll
5.
for the runabout. So there's okay. There's
So it's 4.
you have 4 successes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes it 5.
Yes.
The red
Fantastic.
dice are hard to read.
So you do a thorough scan while kind of hiding behind the moon a little bit. What you're seeing is there is nothing down there for tachyon generation. There's no shielding. There's no nothing. You do note that there is a large series of caverns that it would make sense for those to have been where the generators were. But you don't have a way to. You don't detect anything like power-wise coming from them. You do pick up several hundred Davidian life signs, but they are odd. Something is off about them.
Oh no, we got it. And are they all congregated in one general area? Or?
There are groups of them, like 5 or 10 at like in a cluster, but they're not anywhere near each other.
And from our future, I'm picturing that shield was over a fairly large region.
No, it was essentially just a bubble inside the planet.
A bubble inside the planet. Okay.
Yeah. And from your scans in the past, they were kind of clustered like this before, maybe in larger clusters, but still like they weren't all in one area. They were kind of spread out throughout the inside of the planet.
But primarily contained by that bubble.
Yeah.
So this is when the prison's at its strongest.
No, there's no prison.
Oh, no, prison. Okay.
There's no generators. There's no shielding. There's no nothing underneath. No, there's no shield. There's no prison at this point in time.
We have to construct the device that sends us back in time.
Actually, on that note, Charlie would have brought along the discriminators needed for us to see them. You need like the warp enhancer pylons, and then you need the Type 9 discriminator, so we can at least see them. We may not be able to interact with them that well.
I would like to remind you that this is Star Trek, and we do not discriminate.
I didn't
Gotcha
name the
there.
device.
I guess then we need to land the runabout and get to one of these groups.
The other option is you could beam
Okay.
down.
Into the planet?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think we need to figure out why they're different first.
Is that going to be remotely safe?
No.
I mean, the caverns are big enough that you shouldn't have a problem beaming into them. There's no heavy metals that are blocking them or anything that you would normally run into in Star Trek stories. Like there, yes, Nine Inch Nails is not playing down there, so no heavy metal. But like there's plenty of, I know. Listen, Matt's knowledge of hip music is very low, so Nine Inch Nails is what came to mind. Sorry.
They're more
I'll say
industrial.
more industrial.
Yeah.
So no Megadeth, I guess.
Dio.
Sure.
Dio.
I don't even know who Dio is, so there you go. Listen,
Oh,
the Matt has some very severe blind spots. I should stop talking about myself in third person. I have some very strong blind spots, and music is one of them. Most of the time, I do not connect with it. Now, if it's a song about tacos and eating them, I'm 100% on board, and I will share that with everyone later if they would like.
there's only one question you need to know about heavy metal. Who would win in a fight, Lemmy or God?
Lemmy is God.
Exactly.
See, there you go.
I have watched Wayne's World.
Airheads.
Airheads.
Oh, is it really Airheads?
Yep.
Airheads.
Brendan
Crap.
Fraser.
Oh,
Solid movie.
that is a good movie. So yeah, like there's plenty of space for you to transport down there. The rock is not so like thick and dense with anything that would keep you from beaming it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm more concerned about our safety from the Davidians, not from beaming
Oh.
through the rock.
On the scans that Charlie took, there does not seem to be. It's not like the Davidians are moving from place to place, or moving out aside. Like the life, the life forms that you've scanned are staying in the same place and have not moved at all.
Yeah, before when we took our scans in our present, we knew they were. We could tell they were weakened from our scans.
You could tell they were weakened and they were active. These are not active.
But are they weakened? No.
They're off. Something's
They're off.
wrong.
I think that's our only option. I don't know we're going to get the scans that we need from the ship. I mean, we're going to have to go into those caverns anyway, I think. I think we're the ones that created the shielding.
It's possible.
This is some kind of self-fulfilling prophecy.
The temporal bridge does seem to go both ways.
Well, we should do a better job this time. Because clearly we didn't do a good enough job last time and we ended up here.
Get the shield in place, and then see if we can get home. Maybe we can improve on the shield so it doesn't crack in the future, but then that could prevent us from ever coming back in time. So I don't know. I'll leave it to the more scientific minds to muddle through time philosophy.
So are you beaming down? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
I think we need to.
I get the pylons.
We
And
must
discriminate.
construct
We can
additional
drop additional
pylons.
pylons.
Can I? Sorry, Phil. That one took me a second. Very nice. Can I get? Perrin, I think you're the best option. Probably. Also, you're the
Alright.
engineer.
Yeah.
Can I get a control engineering difficulty of 3 to beam all of you down, and also set it to maintain a lock and beam you out when you tell it to?
If you get a critical failure, we're gonna be all spliced together.
We're all just gonna have.
Good. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say we're all gonna have transporter duplicates in the past.
That then join the Maquis
Hmm.
eventually,
Dominion.
or the Dominion.
Join
Yeah.
the, join the Dominion.
I have some strong opinions on the Maquis.
Can the ship's computers help? Or no?
They can try. Let me pull that back up. Sorry. Yeah, so that's going to be going off of. We'll go with computer and engineering, which is a 9.
Ooh.
Computer.
So if somebody wants to roll that, and it crits on 1s only.
I'm gonna buy a die, and then I also have a with momentum.
All right,
The buying 1 die will put it down to 3.
I rolled an 11 for the ship.
So do any of my focuses apply with computers? I don't know. I'm using the computer to trigger the beamback.
Sure. Well, then, yeah, that's an argument you can make.
Yeah. So I got 4 successes, and I'll use my talent. So Bink, you can re-roll the computer.
Oh, cool. That's an 8.
Okay, so that puts you guys at 5, unless you want to ask extra questions or set a or create an advantage. That's the words I'm looking for.
Would it create an advantage on our next scene, which is presumably on the other side?
Yeah, it would.
So I'm not super familiar, but so it could be that
So it really comes
we're in
down
an
to like,
advantageous position that
yeah,
we
like
can observe the Davidians or something.
what's the most idyllic situation for you to beam down in if you wanted to spend those 2, because it does take 2. You could create whatever, like, we're going to beam into an area that is completely safe and there isn't going to be like there's no life forms around it, and but close enough to walk or something like that.
There's a nice tea set up for us.
You just beam down tea and crumpets.
No, cucumber sandwiches with the crust trimmed off.
Maybe a nice watercress salad to go with it.
Ooh.
Watercress are the worst.
I'll be honest,
So
I have no
fancy.
idea what a watercress salad is. I just know it sounds fancy.
You know, same actually.
I think maybe
Like
just
a
take
water-
the momentum on this one.
Take what on this one?
The momentum.
Okay, cool. And then I'll put you guys at 5. You beam down into a cavern, maybe 30 feet high, and maybe 80 foot by 30 foot length and width. There is it's not super even, but unlike most Star Trek shows, it is lit somehow. So you do see off to one side there is a pool of water that does have a slight glow coming out of it.
Don't touch that water.
Is it Armis's fancier brother?
Legus.
Exactly.
I know Charlie has a job, but he is immediately drawn to that water, and he's gonna have his tricorder out.
So you head over. You don't see anything in the water. Your tricorder does detect the Davidian life signs. There are 5 of them in the water.
Do I see what they look like?
You can't. They are not, because Davidians live in that weird, not here but here. You would have to take the time to set up the discriminators. We're gonna call.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set it up around the water.
Sure. So you take the time to set them up. 8th Tom and Torax is assisting. Like he gets the idea of how to turn these on. It's not hard. When you get the last one up and kind of turn on the field, what you see are what look like 5 pods that are generally human-sized-ish in the water. And on like going through your scan again, what you're not seeing is you're detecting life forms, but these are in some sort of egg or pupal stage. These are not currently active or mature Davidians.
So it's a hatchery or a nest.
A nestery.
I'm going to be scanning for anything that isn't not the Davidians, since Charlie's focused there, but more anything that helps clue us in as to how we might be able to get home. So, if there's any energy signatures, if there's any structures, or
Can you give me a reason science difficulty at 2?
3 successes.
Okay,
'Cause I rolled a
fantastic. That'll
1.
that'll put you at 6. So you do a quick scan, and what you're getting is that there is a very, very low level of neurolytic energy being pulled from the surface down into the cave, and it is feeding whatever's in the pools, whether egg or larva, like whatever it is, they are being fed slowly by that.
Commander, if you recall, previously the Davidians mentioned this was a feeding ground. And if you look at these scans here, I can see the energy going from the surface into these pods.
That's strange. That almost suggests that something else is taking the power from the Davidians. Like the Davidians are almost a power source.
Oh no, it's coming from the planet. Like it's coming from the people above, and
I
just
meant
like the. Oh, okay, go ahead.
I meant for the tachyon barriers around it. Like they're pulling in the neurolytic energy in like a almost like a humane way, sort of, from the planet. But then that energy's going somewhere.
Into the Davidians.
Oh, okay. Did they find like a humane way to feed off the people on this planet? You're
You
muted,
are
Sean.
you are muted.
There we go. Or is this just how they feed their young? Because these look like eggs.
Could be.
And remind me again, we don't want to shoot these, right?
No.
Because the big boom.
Well, if there's an active like time tunnel, time wormhole, we especially don't want to shoot them because then the energy gets amplified going through it, and that'll destroy the planet in the future.
Good point. Avoid that. Commander Perrin, we're not picking up any evidence of the shielding generator that we saw in the future.
That's my understanding, Commander. I think that, as perhaps Commander Charlie suggested, we may need to engineer this ourselves and somehow tie into their energy to get back, and perhaps then we can also imprison this nesting ground.
So we're going to create the device that sent us back in time to get us back to our time.
Yeah, but we'll do better this time, I think.
So, Commander Charlie, you know that there are several species, mostly non-intelligent species, that do something similar, where they will plant their young or their eggs in an area that they can then feed on when they awaken. Um, and it's like that across the galaxy, so that's not out of the question. But it is definitely interesting that they're not interacting directly currently. Like there's energy coming from the surface, but it is, from what you understand, so much smaller than it should be for a Divinian to feed. This is like somebody losing a word instead of like their entire life. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, like I said, this still seems like it's more humane, but I don't, or it's more covert. Yeah, because that way no one will know they're there.
I mean, humane for the people on the planet, but that doesn't seem, from what you're saying, it doesn't seem like it's enough energy to feed them here, to
Well,
give them what they need to actually actively do anything.
it looks like they're a parasite now, but then when they hatch, they're going to kill everybody in an extremely non-humane way.
I mean,
How many people
that's
does a Davidian eat? I mean,
we're unclear. They caused quite the cholera epidemic in San Francisco. We're
I
pretty much
remember them.
unsure. Yeah, we're unsure how often they need to feed.
I think we can speculate all we need to. I think we need to get back to the ship and start planning on how we get that bubble that we saw from the future in place in these tunnels so that we can contain them and figure out how to get home.
I'd like to stay
Uh,
down here for as long as possible to get more readings and possibly to study the Davidians so that we can understand what we're dealing with.
I prefer you to have a pair, so either I would prefer Commander Bex, just in case things go wrong. Yeah, that's the way we do it because we're gonna need you back on the ship, Perrin. You and our Jim Hadar friend to start working on the shielding, and I think that's the game plan that we're gonna go forward with.
Yeah, I've watched too many of those old Earth, horror films to know that hanging around down in the dark cave, that's not a smart move. So I'm happy to go back to the ship commander.
In the dark cave.
So I guess what I'm going to do is pilot Commander Perrin and our Jim Hadar friend back to the Serenitis, and then I will come back into the same spot and wait for word to pull you guys out, or at least get word to come back and get the equipment to load down there. So I'll be shuttling back and forth.
That's actually a great place for us to stop. For right now, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Don't forget that there's a follow button. If you haven't clicked it, you should. If you've already clicked it, now there's a subscribe button. And for a limited time, you can subscribe with your Amazon Prime, and it costs nothing for you. It does take money out of Jeff Bezos's pocket and puts it in ours. So, if you're down with capitalism, that's a good way to help. Otherwise, we will take a 10-minute break and we'll be back to tell you the rest of the story for From Heaven to Hell. That's the name of the episode tonight. So we'll be back in just about 10. Buddy, and welcome back to the Voyages of here on Rook and Rasp. Before we get back, our next episode is called Breathing Easy, which I'm sure my players will appreciate. um, Starting on February 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern, Redemption Podcast will be joining Rook and Rasp to stream Smuggler's Blues, an Edge of Empire actual play. This is going to be an every other week game for, I think, February and into March. So definitely come check that out on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, starting on the 20th, which is on 20th of February, which is a couple weeks away, a few weeks away. So definitely come check that out. Otherwise, we will be back next week with Breathing Easy. Let's get back to the story. That sounds like a great idea. So you guys, Commander Valen, you have flown back to the ship, getting everything prepped. It's going to take a couple hours between you and Commander Perrin and the other engineering staff. Let's talk about what's going on below the planet. So, Charlie, are you staying in the same cavern, or there are other caverns within a 10-15 minute walk?
If I'm not going alone, I will investigate the other caverns, and hopefully I would have either brought or had them send down more pylons, so I could just
Sure.
make like little monitored areas.
Sure. You and Commander Bex head over into the next cavern that's closest to set up the pylons and kind of make sure that the same situation is going on there. All the scans are the same. There's some neurolytic energy coming from the planet surface, still in very, very small quantities. Um, the only difference in this cavern is that there is no pool of water, so it takes you a couple of tries to find the eggs. And when you do, again, they're clustered almost exactly the same, kind of in a circle of like 5. And they're just kind of chilling out on the ground. Nothing underneath them or around them to protect them, just kind of chilling there. Go ahead.
So what's interesting is we've not encountered any adult ones walking around.
It's true.
Could we scan for life signs? See if
Besides the people on the surface that all seem to be Almalorian, although obviously there could be a changeling, we've established that. The only other life signs you're getting are the clusters of eggs. Nothing's moving, nothing's active down here. It just seems kind of like they were laid and left, like a sea turtle, like a violent time traveling sea turtle.
Ew.
We do know they're monitoring the planet because they detected us approaching in our time.
So if
and
you
gave us a
remember
warning.
correctly, the ones that came to the ship came from these caverns.
Okay, so they're grown up in our time, which is also when they're escaping.
Mhm.
Okay. Charlie had a very dark thought, but he dismisses it immediately because that is just too dark. There has to be a way to decouple them from the planet without destroying the planet or killing the Davidians. Because even though the Davidians are bad guys, Charlie's not
Down for killing babies?
Yeah, well, they're parasites, but they're sentient parasites.
no suffocating cribs.
So, given what you know of what was in place in the future, it looks like the shielding was put there by probably you to essentially keep them here. Like, just leave them alone, let them do their thing, and leave them here.
Oh, so yeah, we create the shield, but knowing what it can do, like in a harmful way, we could probably make an improved version of the shield.
It's possible, but that could change the timeline.
I mean, we're already mucking around with time.
It could change the timeline in a way that would strand you here for having never come here.
Or we could build in redundancies into it so it will fail, but then we can travel back to our time and fix it.
That's not a terrible idea.
That might be what we have to do. I mean, it's risky, but it's the only way which we can accomplish all of our goals.
Charlie,
This
can I
isn't my
get you?
first time travel rodeo.
Charlie, can I get you to give me a reason science roll? Subspace
Got
fields
this.
definitely would work as
Oh yeah,
a
I got
focus.
this. I got this. I got this. I got this. Double 20. No, here we go. Uh, what's our threat currently at?
The 10.
Okay, I got one success. And does a 19 count as a
It does not
critical?
currently.
Okay, good. Then just one success.
So what you're gathering from these caverns is for whatever you're going to build to work for 800 years. It's going to have a power source that it can tap into, and the best option may be like geothermal.
Wait, there may be actually another solution after all. I mean, they're already using the planet crust to tap into the neurolytic energy on the surface. We could, in theory, just reverse the polarity of where they're drawing the power from and feed them energy from the Earth's core. I mean, we'd have to find a way to convert it into neurolytic energy, but maybe the problem here isn't so much that, they want food. Maybe we can give them a meat substitute, make them go vegan.
That's terrible, but okay. And I like where you're going. Also, that's terrible.
Artificial
It, it,
suffering.
it, it might not work. I mean, it's a big if, but
Does anybody truly like soya bacon?
I
mean, technically, everything you eat on the Enterprise or on the Serenitis is soya bacon.
or
Yeah.
reconstituted from poop.
Yep, it's poop bacon.
Poop bacon.
I have weird questions that I can ask at another time. So, yeah, I mean, you guys, that's an option if you could figure out a way to convert it. But converting geothermal to neurolytic is not something that Starfleet has ever done before.
Okay,
yeah,
but
and with
we
the
could
resources,
we could leave a computer here working out the details of it so that when we arrive back in the future, it will have solved the equation.
kind of,
As long as it doesn't return 42.
Yeah, just the answer is 42. You come back and you're like, what do you mean? What do you mean 40? That doesn't answer anything.
You can blame
I
my
was gonna say,
time travel obsessed roommate for all of these thoughts.
is
Well,
this
I
the
mean-
Doctor Who special? When you have to know the location of every atom in a wooden door.
Go ahead.
Honestly, as much as Charlie likes that idea, he's probably going to stick with finding out a way to shore up the shield so that we can trap the Davidians and without killing anybody, ideally.
So with your time and your scans, you do note that there are 24 locations that if you put the shielding down the way that you read the specs, that should create the bubble you're looking for. It's just going to take time to set up 24 of them across several caverns. That it's just a time intensive task.
No time
is
like
one
the
thing
present.
we have it.
Back on the Serenitis, Tobin, between you and the engineering crew, and Tom and Torax eighth,
Eighth Torn.
eighth Torm. There you go, eighth Tom and Torax.
Tom.
Tom. No.
Tom Tax.
You start to like you figure out how to kind of convert the shielding into creating tachyons instead. It won't require a large amount of power, but it does need to have a power base. which you are also smart enough to realize that geothermal might be the best option. You don't want to leave a nuclear reactor underneath the planet core. That could go bad.
Oh,
Nah. But yeah, you get to work on those relatively quickly. With just replicating a few parts here and there, like you have a lot of the things you would already need. And then you adapt it from Dominion to definitely future Dominion. There have been enough times that someone has actually accidentally said Starfleet or the Federation that TomTom is starting to seem a little questioning. We're just going to call him TomTom now. It's too late.
It has thus begun.
but we're teaching him the values of democracy.
We go by many names in the future.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's a plausible. Sure. Um, yeah, you guys spend a few hours replicating and constructing and prepping before you're already back on the Serenitis to go back to the planet. Um, the travel is inconsequential. We're going to jump forward a little bit to all 4 or 5 of you, since we're going to have TomTom there, back under the planet, kind of setting everything up. Not much of an issue tapping into the geothermal. The conversion is not a big deal, and it takes about an hour for each location. So it's just going to be crews of engineering people going down if you want to speed it up. If not, it's just going to take you guys probably the better part of 2 days.
We got this.
So do you want to get a bunch of engineers to come over and do it, or do you want to just keep it limited to the number of people there, to just you 5?
My advice to the commander would be to, well, I know the stellar abilities of my engineering team that, given temporal shenanigans and Davidians and whatnot, that we keep it to a smaller team and take the time.
I would tend to agree that we should limit everybody's exposure, keep most of the crew on the Serenitis, and then between the 5 of us, we should be able to get this out. I mean, we've seen no evidence that there's going to be an adult Davidian all of a sudden show up. So I think we're stay alert, but I think we can get the work done.
Okay. Can I get both Charlie and Perrin to give me a control engineering? There is no difficulty. It's just a matter of how many successes you get, and also how many complications you roll.
We roll 2 dice, or is one
2
one
dice, yeah,
dice,
absolutely. Or 2 dice, or you can buy dice. You guys are capped currently on momentum, so like there's plenty.
I'm buying one.
Cool. Perrin, would you
Triple
like to
20s.
also buy one?
No.
Okay.
2.
One success.
And 2, so that's total 3. So it actually does take a little less than 2 days between setting everything up and like making sure everything's working. You are able to activate the tachyon shielding around the caves without much of an issue at all.
Yay!
And still be able to beam through them, which was something you worked out. Like that's a thing. We can't turn it on and get stuck here. We got to turn it on and leave. So you have set it up to program to be after 795 years, 794 and 3/4 of a year. The fissures will appear, but that shouldn't be a problem to fix in the future now that you know what you're doing. You're basically just going to send a pulse down to like run a diagnostic and it'll fix itself. So
We figured it out how to make it better.
yeah, everything seems fine on the planet. TomTom has been invaluable with kind of what he knows, and has picked up on some of the newer technology that you guys have enough to like help out. And you turn on the shielding and beam back to the runabout.
And it all works out.
So far,
Ta-da!
get home.
Can I get Commander Valen?
Mhm.
Can you give me a control con?
Okay.
Difficulty's 3. None of your evasive action will apply.
Okay. I'm gonna buy a dice.
Sure.
Okay,
you
so
down to
evasive action.
4.
So that is, let's see. You said control and con.
Con. Mm-hmm.
That is 1 crit, and then 2 successes.
Fantastic. So that'll give you 1 back. That'll put you back at 5 for momentum. As you guys beam back, almost like once you're on the ship and get ready to fly back to the Serenitis, proximity sensors go off as a ship kind of comes around the moon and it stops in front of you, and you hear the chime of a hail.
No screens.
I'm
Sure.
prepared to be unsurprised.
Unidentified vessel. This is Almalorian Patrol. Please submit your ID.
I was surprised.
Almalorian vessel. You'll have to bear with us. We seem to be having transmission problems at the moment. Please.
Do you need assistance from an engineering crew? We can
Clutch is stuck.
we can send over a shuttle.
No, thank you. Our engineers are in the process. It should be up within the next 15 minutes or so.
If you're having that much trouble, I can see your view screen also is not working. We can tow you to the dry dock as well if you would like.
I'm gonna stop talking. I'm going to do controls, and we're gonna skedaddle.
Punch it.
Oh, so you're just warping out?
Well, not right. I don't know that we can warp this close to the moon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can just
Yeah.
punch it. Nobody
Yeah,
cares.
we're gonna punch it.
What speed are you warping away at?
9.
9? Really 9? Like I'm good
All
with
of
that.
it. All of it.
All of it.
It would be like some alien sighting from Earth. Like, well, he was here. You saw him, right? I saw him. Well, our sensors saw him. Like, what happened to him?
How
Do you
far
remember
was-
the end of Tomorrow is Yesterday?
Mhm.
No.
It's like the first time travel episode. It's like TOS episode like 7 or 8.
It's a wonderful episode.
It is. But at the end they just warp right out of the like 60s in full
that makes-
sight of a bunch of Air Force folks.
Oh
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the one where they tried to create a spinoff about a pilot in the 60s?
Later
Maybe.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so
how far out is the Serenitis?
45 minutes by warp 3. So
what I
way
wanna
faster if
do-
you go like warp 4.
Right, but I don't want to head straight. Well, I guess they're not gonna be able to track us if we do that. Yeah, look, warp 4.
Okay, so you pop it right into warp. There is another, like you shut off your comms and hit warp, and there's another chime on your comms that goes away very quickly. As you like literally 5 minutes pop out of warp at the Serenitis.
I'm gonna decloak, or not decloak, drop the hollow emitters, and land in the shuttle bay.
Okay. As the 5 of you get off the shuttle bay and start heading, I assume, to the bridge. Are you taking Tom to the bridge?
No, we need to find a place for Tom.
Honestly,
airlock.
we may just want to take him with us.
Well, if that's what Chief of Security says, then okay.
So what do you
He
suggest?
knows a lot, is what
We-
I'm saying.
Do we put him in the brig for now?
Like,
Sure.
at this point, Charlie's kind of suspicious of Tom, and while we're close, he kind of wants to do like a surreptitious tricorder scan of Tom.
I am
Sure.
suggesting we
Oh.
kidnap this child.
Charlie,
If
why don't
he's
you
a child.
give me a reason science? It's a difficulty of 2.
Okay, and I'm gonna buy a point of momentum.
Okay.
He's
I'll
in
drop you guys
science.
down to 4.
Wait, do scans even work on?
They do.
We did develop a means to detect them.
That's right.
They
right.
have not developed the means to defeat us yet, which he doesn't know. Yeah, that's 4 successes.
Okay, so that'll put you back at 6. He is not Jim Hadar.
Yeah. Oh man. I gotta send a text. Someone's gotta feed my monitor lizard. If he's not fed on time, he'll poop everywhere. I gotta handle the lizard poop. So I will join you on the bridge. Hurry around the corner. Little, there's gotta be a way for us to like text each other or. Oh.
You can send it to individual like workstations, so you could text the captain, but everybody else is walking.
I'm gonna text the captain and I'm gonna tell him what TomTom is, and we should have a force field ready to go on the bridge at any moment. Also, we should probably be blocking any kind of subspace communications coming off the ship, because that's a thing which I've also just remembered they can do. So we screwed the pooch on this one. I got excited to make a new friend, but he's not a friend.
So we're kidnapping him.
Well, I mean, I think at this point the 3 of us are heading back to the bridge with TomTom. We don't know.
Oh yeah, Tobin is clueless.
As the 3 of you come out of, or the 4 of you come out of, everybody but Charlie come out of the turbo lift. Bex, you are caught off guard as 2 security officers kind of push you out of the way and shoot TomTom and like drop him. And as he hits the ground, he turns into a changeling. And the captain stands up and says, "I apologize, Commander. There was no time to tell you. Charlie informed us of an issue. We will be handling this as you see fit."
I agree, Captain. I did not realize none of us had the idea that they would have sent a changeling over for.
Do we
this.
have a bucket?
Charlie kind of struts onto the bridge.
He's not
like,
currently the changeling is not currently a puddle so much as a still formed changeling.
Yeah, but it's more convenient to carry them in their goo form.
Put them in
and
a
we
bucket
can-
with a lid on it and just call it a day.
Yeah. Maybe a belt around it to keep it closed.
Yeah. No, that's legit.
Paperweight on top.
Has some heavy books on top, yeah.
Are you taking him to the brig? Are you putting him behind a force field on the bridge? What's
I would like to keep him within sight.
okay? So you want to put a force field around him?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a problem.
My first suspicion was the fact that Jim Hadar don't know science, and he knew a lot about science. I just realized that this means racism saved the day, but
Yeah,
you know what? I'm not comfortable with how we got here. I'm just glad we got here.
I'm glad your suspicions were there, Commander.
Yeah. So the commander comes up, or Charlie comes up right behind you guys. I keep saying commander. That's like all 4 of you, so that's not helpful. Charlie comes up out of the turbo lift like 45 seconds later. You've gotten the body of the changeling kind of in a chair with a force field around him. And that's kind of where you're at.
So we do have an issue here. We cannot let the changeling go back to the ships. We're gonna have to take him with us.
I would like to remind you, you guys have yet to figure out how to get home.
We're working on it. We got other things we have to consider now.
I mean, not
There's-
really. We're just going to take him with us.
Sure.
Can
But
we
those
strip memories from a changeling?
If you had a powerful psychic on board, you might be able to do that. You'd have to check with them. I would let you spend 2 momentum to create an advantage, but then you guys are gonna have to name the guy or girl, or not guy or girl, the being. Q
Some
shows
kind
up.
of odd, distinctive organism. Yeah.
Just a glowing green cloud.
Um. So yeah, if you guys want one, let me know. We'll spend the momentum. That's fine. And we apologize. Charlie has to, or Sarah has to step away for just a second. But what do you guys want to do?
Well, I mean, we can come to that decision, but I mean, if we take the changeling with us, I mean, we would just let it go back to the Great Link. I mean, there's no harm that's going to be done by taking a historic changeling and bringing it to the future. I don't think that's going to change anything. I mean, if we try to wipe its memory, that could have consequences.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about the 3 ships out there attacking us when we don't send the Jem'Hadar back.
Especially with the way that the link works, like nobody really knows how they communicate, but they definitely do
Well, I mean,
in the link. So if there was some sort of memory change, you don't know if that it would be difficult to tell now if that
Oh,
would be affected by the Great Link or not.
like if we think we modified the memory, it's going to go back to the Great Link and be, oh, by the way, here's all these secrets that you didn't.
What's this hole in your memory? I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's go unlock that. Like, yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying let's just sort of bring them back with us, and we can deal with it then. We can get the time cops involved.
Time cops.
I mean, at the very least, I mean, it's not like we can just release it to the wild and it's not going to give us any tactical advantages. But we do need to figure out how we're getting.
I'm gonna spend 2 threat to wake up the changeling. Just to wake him up. I'm not.
Okay.
And he comes out guns blazing. Like he's got Uzis and a giant samurai sword on his back, and like.
That weird.
I like the pun
Machete.
with Uzis.
Yeah, as the bridge crew is kind of talking this over, he shifts a little bit, like touches the force field and backs up and says, "Interesting. What gave me away? I was not under the impression that anyone from this time frame could detect us."
Well, yeah,
I'm not sure we're going to answer any of your questions.
It's unfortunate because I was more than happy to help you with your current conundrum.
Are you saying that you know how to get us back to our time?
Oh, no. I'm saying you have 3 ships out there that have interacted with your temporal issue. And as I did explain as a Jem'Hadar, it is very looked down on for anyone to do any kind of time travel by the Dominion. If you would open a channel, I could speak with Wayun and solve that.
solve that by how?
I will eliminate the issue. I don't know what you are, but I've heard the word Starfleet and Federation used a couple of times. I'm going to assume you're not part of the Dominion. That doesn't bother me. What I'm more concerned about is you are in the wrong time and you need to go back to where you belong.
And the problem is, we don't know what to do with you.
Could you give me an idea of how far in the future you are? Are we talking hundreds or thousands of years?
8,000 years from the future. No.
Millions and millions of years.
I forget how far back. 700 years?
795.
Approximately 790 from your present.
If you'll open a channel to Wayun, I will take the first step to fix this.
Yeah, I don't like this.
Commander Vox, if the changeling is betraying us and he alerts those 3 ships, what are our chances?
You mean Commander Bex?
Yeah, sorry, Commander Bex.
Oh, well, we can probably take them. I mean, we can take them. We might suffer some damage. Repairs might be a little touch and go here, but we can probably take them.
The shields on my ships are currently down. If you target them, you would be prepared for any treachery.
I think we're gonna have to go on some trust here. I know none of us are happy with the way the Dominion does business, but
Oh, I don't trust you solids either, but we have a common goal.
yeah, getting us out of here. I agree. Commander, target their ships, be ready for anything, and open a channel.
Wayun pops up on your screen.
Okay.
It says, how can I help you, future Dominion ship? The changeling kind of tries to stand up, but the force field is, like, assume Bex made the force field as tight as possible. So he starts to stand up and then just, like, sits back down and he says, Wayun, set self-destruct on all 3 ships. Now is the time. And he says, as you wish, Founder. And the screen goes blank, and then 10 seconds later, all 3 ships explode.
I'm going to throw up shields before that.
Oh, yeah, no, I assume you already had shields up. Like,
Yeah.
you went to yellow alert. This is a weird time. Nobody's going to drop shields if you don't have to. So, yeah, no, all 3 ships explode on a quick sensor sweep. There are no survivors at all.
It's interesting that you yourself weren't going to, I assume, just self-destruct with those ships.
Oh, I probably would have gone down to the planet and had them do it from while I was there. There are a lot of moving parts. Oftentimes we find ourselves in a liquid state of sureties.
Yeah, and they are replaceable now, aren't they?
Of course, we already have, I'm sure, 65 new Jim Hadar being pulled out of vats, and Wayun is useful, so he'll be cloned. Oh, sure. I'm sure of that.
All right, let's focus on getting out of here.
So, as I understood from reading what I'm sure you didn't want me to, you used a disruptor pulse against this tachyon shield. I believe if you do it again, because of how these Davidians work with time, it will shunt you back to your time.
I assume that sounds appropriate to me.
I would like to run some scenarios, some computer models to make sure that checks out. Not that I'm doing it. I'm telling them to do that because
I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I don't understand that.
Excellent. And then once you get back to your current time, you can drop me on Almalor. You can take me captive for all I care. I'm sure I'll find a way out. It sounds as though you've encountered the Dominion and understand us well enough to know that founders don't stay kept.
No, that has been our experience. Who wants to tell them?
Commander, may you indulge me for a moment?
Of course.
I'm going to queue up some footage of the Dominion War.
Fuck. The fudge.
I want to make sure do you show this changeling the wasting disease? And then do you show the changeling that he got cured?
I will show them the wasting disease, and yes, eventually, yeah, we will show them that we cured it.
He sits through your 35-minute documentary on how badly the Dominion got their asses kicked in the Dominion War.
Mm-hmm.
He nods and he says, well, it seems there's a treaty in place, and I'm sure that there is a provision under that treaty that would allow for a transfer of a prisoner, especially one as important as a founder. If that's what you'd like to do, I think that's the right step.
I mean, you will find, as far as the Federation goes, the importance of founders are not quite as elevated as you yourself think they are.
Perhaps, but the importance that my society places on us does have an implied value in other cultures.
But given the fact that you are 700 years from the past, you don't really have any tactical advantages for us at this point. And while I can't make the promises myself, I'm only commander. I'm pretty sure our admiral will agree to releasing you back to the Great Lake.
Then that sounds like a great plan.
Or
Let's
what
go to the
remains of
future.
it there is.
Yes, please let's go to the future. To the future.
To the future. Or to the present.
Back to the future.
So you get your train, and you hit 88 miles an hour. So you do need to fly into the Almalorian system.
Yeah.
And get
Oh, to use
close
their
enough.
sun?
What now?
To use their sun?
No, to use a disruptor, or not a disruptor, a deflector beam
Oh,
on the
yeah.
tachyons.
Use the
again.
thing we built, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to get close enough, which essentially means you're going to have to fly into orbit.
Why can't we just slingshot the sun? It always works.
Right? Oh, that'd have been so cool. I mean, and dangerous for the ship, which is why we don't do that.
Turns
But
out there's a slingshot sun like regulator on the engine that won't allow you to do that.
We can just
It's the
remove that.
governor.
Only
So,
someone from
I
Section
don't-
31 can do that.
Ooh.
No, I'm kidding. That would be dumb. That would be real dumb.
How fast does it? How long will it? Do we need to drop shields to
No.
do this? Okay, then I'm. It's gonna make some noise, but I think that's our only chance. Our only choice. We're gonna have to fly in hot, zap with the deflector array, and we need to make sure everything is ready to go. Warp,
Can
orbit,
I-
pop.
Can I get you to give me let's call it a control command roll. Difficulty is 3.
Okay.
Anyone else can help with control command.
I'm going to buy dice, but yeah.
Sure. That'll put us down to
Engineering
5.
help or science help.
I've got a 15 with control command. I could help.
Well, I've got an. Does evasive action apply? As a focus?
No, not at all. Well, I
Okay, then
looked at
I've
your
got
focuses.
2 successes.
Fantastic.
I got one.
There's your 3. So Tobin kind of looks over at you just as you look over at Tobin, and you both realize that if something happened 800 years ago, it might be in the historical records that you got from Almalor.
The day the great ship appeared.
So,
Well, I'm thinking about that. I also want to think about, can we prevent whatever caused the anomaly that caused the Almalorians to have the rage when a tachyon passed through them? Did we cause that, or did we just cause the tachyons? But I guess, can we just fix that problem in what we're constructing now, or no?
you hypothetically could. However, that changes that will change the future, which could have catastrophic problems. So the fact that you guys set this up improperly, and that's what caused the problem, or you set it up in a way that would cause a problem, not that you set it up improperly. Like your group cannot. If you change that, it would change the consequences of you being here. That makes sense.
Yeah, we can't alter the timeline. We need that to happen, but we've already set things in motion in the future to fix it, to allow them to come home. So
But does us wanting to get back to time, maybe I'm sure there are other consequences, like justify us like creating this situation that impacts this culture? Like, are we violating the Prime Directive by going back to our time?
You're violating the temporal time directive by not going back.
Okay.
Like, rules are weird, and the temporal time directive kind of takes precedent in situations like this. Those things have to happen, or else this has not happened, so those things won't happen. And then you have Commander Valen's head hurts, and nobody's happy.
Then the inevitable show up and enforce the timeline, and it's very ugly.
Look, as it is, when we get back, we're going to be at least 2 weeks worth of meetings on this. At least.
The worst.
That's the
meetings.
worst.
I'm sorry, and then you let the changeling blow up his own ships?
Hey,
Trust
you
me,
know
the
how they
time
are.
cops are not fun.
We didn't let him. I mean, okay,
Oh,
he wanted to, and
We just didn't stand in the way. We just made a phone call. It's not really that big of a deal.
Per the treaty, we can't interfere with Dominion business.
but the treaty hasn't happened yet. He's not a signatory of the treaty.
He couldn't have signed the treaty. He's going to the future with you.
Should we check to see if he did sign the treaty to make sure we brought him back from the past?
Ooh.
Yeah, did he retroactively like?
He is not on the treaty. Only the main founder was on the treaty.
Okay.
Also, what
Odo.
if this is like Odo, and we're taking Odo to the future? And
This is not Odo. It's definitely not Odo. So looking back at the historical information that you got, there was a spatial anomaly is the official wording in the report, and everything about it is kind of please see other file
Redacted.
that you did not receive.
Wow, it's amazing how much black marker they can use.
It's black
The
space
electronic-
marker.
Yeah, electronic file. Yeah, I think given the anomaly excuse, they have the fact that everything is redacted and in secrecy. I think we're good to go. We warp in, pop the deflector, and hopefully get home.
Okay.
And not end up in the middle of the planet.
So the plan is to go ahead and take the changeling back to the future,
I believe so, yeah.
or just kick him out the airlock because he can breathe out there. He's fine.
Yeah, he'll just transform into some weird spacefaring creature.
Yeah.
No, Definitely bringing him back with us.
Can I get Valen? Can I get you to give me a daring and con roll? The Serenitis is going to assist with engines and con, which is an 11.
Okay.
The difficulty is going to be 4.
You said daring and con?
Yes.
An evasive action would apply in this?
Yeah, let's go ahead and say yes.
Cool. I'm going to go ahead and buy it. I think we have enough momentum.
Oh yeah, we got like 5.
Okay.
Who's rolling for the ship?
I can.
Okay, so I think you're on an 11. Yeah, an 11.
All right. That's one success.
Fantastic.
Daring and cons, that's a 16, so that's 3 successes.
There's 4. So you warp in, like right into orbit, which is dangerous, and you knew that, but like that's why the roll was so hard. Can I get Commander Bex to give me a daring and security roll? It's going to be a difficulty of 2.
All right. Difficulty of 2. Does anything? I don't think anything I have would help with that.
The only thing I could say is do good recklessly is a value that would apply here.
Sure. We will do good recklessly.
So that puts you at 2 successes already.
Yep. And then I get to roll. And that is 2 more successes.
Okay, so that'll put you guys back at cap at 6 on the momentum. Yeah, so you fire off the deflector dish, hit it just right. The ship shudders and pitches. Several people are kind of tossed to the ground. Random tubing and wiring comes out of the ceiling. One of the panels explodes like they always do. And the ship feels like it spins and comes to a stop close to where you were before you traveled back in time. You're probably 10,000 kilometers away, still in Almalorian space. Um, on a quick run through on like sensors, you are like 5 minutes after you left, like you were when you left. So like 5 minutes have passed, and then you pop back in. Um, but everything seems the ship's gonna need some work, but like everything seems relatively okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We are, to confirm, we are back, right?
Yes.
Well, I was more to the our bridge.
You as the ship kind of gets settled and you're getting damage reports, um, one singular Dominion ship pops out of warp, and you are hailed.
On view screen.
So it's Gelnan. He says, "This is Gelnan of the Dominion, calling the USS Serenitis.
Yes.
It's our understanding that you have a member of the Dominion on your ship. We would appreciate them being transferred to ours. Per the treaty, Article 12, Section 6, subsection A, we believe we have the right to request a willing participant to come back to the Dominion." And you look over at the changeling that's on the ship, and he's just all big old smile.
How did they?
You can only block transmissions when you know that I'm making them. You didn't know that I was making them on the planet.
Wait.
You sent a message from 750 years in the past.
No, I sent a message to them then and said, please look at the Amalorian system for a large expenditure of energy and tachyon rays, or tachyon particles. Didn't matter when we came out, as long as the Dominion was around, I'd be here. I'd like to go to
What?
my ship. Can you transport me?
What else did you tell them?
That was it.
Did you tell them that a certain Saurian was really helpful and was pretty
I'm-
cool to you?
Can I get a vibe check on this dude?
Yeah, sure. That's going to be presence, and you can go command or security, whichever way you want to look at him.
Security.
Yeah, I figured.
Difficulty.
We'll call it a 3.
All right. I am going to use. How much momentum do we have?
We're capped.
We're capped. I'm going to buy 2 dice if y'all don't mind.
No, go for it.
Please.
I'd say interrogation might work on this. Like a cold
Yeah.
read on him kind of fits in that area.
Yeah. And I'm using my empathy, my Betazoid psychic powers as well.
What does that read? And if you don't have it right in front of you, I can look it up. It's not a big deal.
What it reads is really not good. I have it, but it's loading. But it's you can sense the emotions of most living creatures, living beings, and communicate telepathically with other empaths and telepaths, as well as those whom you are extremely familiar. You cannot choose not to sense the emotions of those nearby, except for those who are resistant to telepathy. It may require effort and a task to pick out the emotions of a specific individual in a crowd, or to block out the emotions of those nearby. Increase the difficulty of this task if the situation is stressful, if there are a lot of beings present, if the target has a resistance to telepathy, or if there are other relevant factors.
So that's going to up it to a 4 difficulty from a 3. Because
Okay.
changelings are notoriously hard to read.
Yep. So you said it was control plus security.
It'd be, it'd be insight plus security.
Insight. That is much better for me.
Yeah.
So that is 1 critical success, then 3 regular successes. So 5 total.
So that'll give you back to 5 momentum. He executed a perfect plan. Like he expects to go home. He has you can feel a great disdain for time travel.
Yeah.
Like,
I know the feeling.
Specifically, is he lying about that is all that he told them?
he does not seem to be.
Okay. I will say, Commander, I believe after time travel in a Federation ship, there may be requirement to be debriefed with the temporal agency. for all parties involved.
I do agree. And what was the Vorta's name? I'm sorry.
Gelnan. You've met, or
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, Charlie and Victor have met Gelnan before. He's our current Vorta enemy.
Attaché.
Yes.
Um, do they have a formal title, or is it just Gelman?
Nope, it's just Vorta or Gelnan.
Gelman, I know you know the treaty. You know that we know the treaty, and you also my rank cannot do this or cannot hand him over right away. We do have Starfleet protocols to follow in the case of temporal mishaps. I can assure you that our plan is to release the founder to you as soon as possible. It just may take a few hours.
Oh, you should not say hours. This is going to be days.
Okay, few days.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna take a while.
It might
Can
be
you-
weeks.
Can you give me a presence command roll difficulty 3? Diplomacy definitely applies.
Present.
Also, Starfleet protocols apply, like either
You got
way. Also, diplomacy applies since you have it on there twice. I'm just going to keep
know,
mocking you for it.
What is our threat level right now?
No, yeah, it's just at a 20.
Okay. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 2 successes. I do have a reroll from earlier that I haven't used.
You should definitely use that. You also have bold command. So if you bought a dice, you get to re-roll a dice.
Oh, cool. So I'll
Can
reroll
I
2.
aid him with my security shenanigans?
Sorry, I take that back. You can aid him. You don't get to re-roll. That is my mistake. It's that would be cautious command. Bold is only when you buy it with threat.
Okay,
So-
so I stick with the original one, which was
Yeah,
still
You
2
still get 2.
successes.
And
The
then
one I did reroll, I got a
Mhm.
3
okay,
because I had a reroll
What-
from earlier from Stevie.
yeah,
So that's right now. That's 3
4
successes.
4.
And
Yeah,
what would
2.
the
Okay.
Yeah. You're right. 2 successes.
It would be presence and command.
presence and command? I barely snuck in a
Okay,
success.
so that'll still get you back to 6. That definitely does succeed. Gelnan like pulls up a pad and taps on it a couple of times, and he says, "It seems that the treaty does have provisions for time travel. It is our right to request that debriefing take place here on your ship. So we would request that you stay here, as we will, and we will guarantee that no other Dominion ships approach during that time."
That shouldn't be a problem. Obviously, we have repairs that we needed. We also need to monitor the planet itself for the fixes that we need to do to the prison, the shielding that is on the surface or in the below the planet. So I don't see a problem with that at all.
The changeling leans as close as he can to you while still being in the force field and says, "You could ask them for an engineer to help."
I think we've had enough help.
I mean, we could benefit from Dominion technology, modern Dominion technology, sir.
You are close enough to the planet that you can connect to the generators on the under the surface. I assume you're putting in a request for the temporal agents, but also for medical personnel, a medical ship to come out, because the whole populace needs to be screened for that mutation.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Excellent. So yeah, you guys kind of just hang out there for what is essentially a week. The Almalorians are very helpful. They like when the USS Hermes, which is I forget the class of ship. It's a medical ship. It's the one with the giant ball on the front that looks kind of goofy. When it arrives,
Pasteur
like,
class.
what now?
Pasteur class.
Thank you. See, look at that, nerd. So when the USS Hermes shows up, they beam a bunch of people down, and the Dominion ship just kind of sits there while you guys just kind of sit there and repair the ship until a runabout appears and 4 temporal agents come and debrief the entirety of your crew, including the changeling. It is a grueling 4 days of interrogate of like debriefing. So we're gonna jump forward. Valen, you are sitting in your office, which is not on deck 1. It's on like deck 2. So you have to go down a flight to get to it. But the lead um, the lead investigator comes in. He's a Commander Cameron.
Cameron.
And he comes in and he sits down across from you at your desk and puts a pad down and kind of scoots it to you. And he says, "From our scans and the information we've gathered, it looks as though the Davidians on the planet are weak because they're starving to death. They're only getting the barest minimal neurogenic energy because of your shielding. So they are still being fed the way they were that you reported from the past. And because of a strange time loop things, you did everything as best as you could have, including capturing a changeling, which that all by itself is interesting. Commander Charlie should be given. Um, he'll be noted in our log as having done proper due diligence.
Oh, trust me, I've already put him in for a commendation for his due diligence and his quick action to secure the changeling.
I would like to impress upon you, Commander, that um, time travel is frowned upon by the Federation. We would request that you refrain from any such travel in the future if you could. But otherwise, we don't see anything that could have been done differently once you sent the the deflector pulse at the at the planet.
Yeah, it was definitely an unexpected experience, and it's not what I'm looking for.
Now, I'm sure that Starfleet security will have separate concerns since the Changeling saw a great deal of our engineering and what do you call that?
Holographic.
The holographic, but also the bridge. That's the word. But that's Starfleet security's issue, not mine.
I don't. I mean, I don't think they really saw anything that would give them any advantages, but we had no other way around it, unfortunately.
I understand. I would have one last request from you, Commander Valen. Let's try not to Kirk this up, okay?
That was our main goal. In fact, there were several plans to try and pin this on the Enterprise while we were back in time, but we decided that probably wasn't prudent.
That would have been quite a bit more frustrating on our part.
What
Well,
he doesn't know is before we left, in the case of stuff, put Kirk was here.
Phaser fire drilling on the wall. Excellent. Your crew, to the best of our investigation, behaved admirably in the past.
Thank you.
I would perhaps take time to sit and study time travel and the laws applying therein. I'm sure that your chief security officer can also. Most people can benefit, but he's a habitual time traveler now, so perhaps he should sit and read the temporal prime directive and all applicable laws associated.
We'll look into a weekend course.
Just a breakout workshop.
Breakout workshop. Maybe our bridge crew would benefit from refreshing themselves from Starfleet on all the temporal laws. And maybe we'll look into avoiding using our deflector for anything other than the standard Starfleet protocol usage.
Of course.
Yeah,
Parents just in there like, deflector, we can use the deflector dish for a lot of shit. Let's just do it. He stands up and he leaves the pad there and he says, my investigation is concluded. You are welcome to resume any missions the changeling can be returned to the Dominion. He has been more than helpful, and I find it odd to agree with one of them.
Yep.
So, thank you, Commander.
Thank
And
you.
he like walks out and leaves. So, do we need to jump forward like to the weekend workshop where you guys all go over? No, honestly, that's probably going to do it for us tonight here on Rook and Raspa. We had a good two-parter where essentially 5 minutes went by, but you also went by 2 days. It's math. It's hard. Don't worry about it.
We aged it 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. So don't forget, starting February 20th, the Redemption podcast will be on Rook and Rasp for the Smuggler's Blues, their Edge of an Empire actual play. If you're not familiar with Edge of an Empire, that is a Star Wars actual play. The game itself is put out by Fantasy Flight Games. So you definitely check that out. It's a fun system. I do enjoy that. And next week we'll be back with Breathing Easy. Don't forget, we've got a Facebook and a Twitter and a Discord and a YouTube. All of those can be in the chat, whether they get there or not. That's a whole different thing. I will forget how to do it. Hey, there it goes. Thanks, Nightbot and Rook and Rasp. But definitely come check us out on Discord. Like as much as Twitter and Facebook are, a thing. We do a lot of stuff over in Discord. We talk a lot, and for some games there are meme trains. When I remember that we should have a meme train, we might jump back on that. But like also just come over and hang out on the Discord and have some fun with us. Thank you guys, and we will be back next week.
Bye.